Well, hello and welcome to another Daily Dominion. I am on a trip in Austria today and over the weekend, but I still managed to squeeze in some time. I'll try to be a bit quicker than usual as I'm also a bit tired. But yeah, let's look at this interesting looking kingdom. We have three sets here, which are Menagerie, we have Plunder, and what is the other one? No, Cornucopia and Guilds, exactly. And yeah, this kingdom looks interesting, certainly. We have, let me get rid of my camera. We have supplies and jeweled egg, two cost treasures, kingdom treasures, and jeweled egg can gain you loots when you trash them. When you trash it, supplies will gain you horses onto your deck. Then we have a bunch of village in swamp shacks and first mate. We have kiln to probably gain you cards, but it's not super impressive here as it's a bit hard to set up. Bounty Hunter to thin out your early starting cards. Maroon to thin out your early starting cards. Bounty Hunter is a bit better here, I think, because it's non-terminal and early on you're not going to have villages in your deck. Although also the event Prepare and March can somewhat function as villages, as you will be able to set up playing actions for your next turn or for from your discard pile. Then there is some draw in Pilgrim and also First Mate and Swamp Shacks. Swamp Shacks has a nice synergy with Prepare, whereas you can get like treasures and actions into play for the next turn to activate your Swamp Shacks to have them draw much more than they would usually do. Cabin Boy, of course, also synergizes with Swamp Shacks, but it's not that great. Then there is a synergy with Merchant Guild and supplies here, because a Merchant Guild cares about how many cards you gain in your buy phase, and supplies gains horses in your buy phase naturally. So for each horse you gain, one Merchant Guild in play will trigger, and you will get a bunch of coffers that way, possibly. So I think what we're aiming for is a deck that where we can draw a deck each turn, where we can also prepare a bit of stuff to set up the next turn with Swamp Shacks preferably, where we carry around loads of treasures, then put in a lot of buys. Merchant Guild is nice plus buy, but it's a bit expensive, so Jeweled Egg might help out there. I'm not sure we're going to try to trash them for loot, as yeah, I think we're aiming for bounty hunter action more than maroon action, so trashing the jeweled eggs might be a bit hard. But we might go for a maroon a bit later once we've exiled our first copper, our first estate, and the bounty hunter isn't as valuable anymore as soon as we have as we have them in exile, we won't get the 3 coin bonus anymore. Yeah, let's briefly look at the kingdom plot. I already discussed the kingdom a bit, but it's what I said. We have village gains and thinning and draw. There is no attack here, and also there's no alt VP, but I think you can build really big here and just gobble up the provinces in one big turn. Then, yeah, opening wise, I didn't prepare an opening plot. I didn't have the time, but I think anyways, on any opening, you want to just open Bounty Hunter supplies. That sounds the best to me. Supplies already in light of later merchant guilds. Bounty Hunter just because it's amazing early on. One could think about buying Bounty Hunter and marching at turn 2 to thin one estate. The downside of that is that the subsequent bounty hunter plays will not get you the 3 money, and thus, yeah, I think it's a bit better to hit larger numbers, get the first merchant guild in probably, and yeah, go for that. So yeah, let's do that. Let's open bounty hunter supplies. We hit 6 here. We can think about getting a merchant guild already. We could also think about getting a Pilgrim. It's gonna be a bit hard to get all of this stuff into get all of the stuff moving. My hope was to find the supplies here because then we could have marched the merchant guild and um, yeah, and then already gotten possibly two coffers because then we could have maybe also bought another supplies, but no such luck. So what do we want to do here? I think one reasonable thing to do might be to play the bounty hunter from the discard and exile the second estate. Or we could go for swamp shacks, but I think I like marching the bounty hunter a bit better. And now here, yeah, we can just go for this last thingy, pick up a second supplies, and now, yeah, we got all of these the estates out. Now here, we might want to march the bounty hunter and pick up a second merchant guild. Is that correct? This could also just be supply swamp shacks, and then we'll handle some of our stuff via prepare and get those two coffers in. I think that might be a bit better here. Yeah, this is looking good. Can pick up the second merchant guild here, and already have one in our discard, so we get a bunch of coffers this turn. Now here, what do we want to do? Can exile a copper, perhaps, draw one card, and then, no, we cannot draw one card. What am I saying? Um, Maybe we want to set aside this swamp shacks and the bounty hunter. So maybe we just do this, march the other merchant guild, right? And then prepare here, and but in that case we should it's not super impressive yet. I mean, we got one horse via the supplies. Maybe we keep one copper in play so the swamp shacks will actually draw us a card next turn and do the thing we aspire to do. So let's do this and that. Maybe even buy a copper for some coffers, as the next turns we will be able to transform these coffers into prepare stuff. Play this first, then this second, and yeah, got some good stuff going. We could even think about setting aside those coppers, but yeah, we could also just march another merchant guild. March yet another merchant guild. Do we have enough money for that even? No, I don't think so. Yeah, no, it's not enough money. So we just pick up another swamp shacks. That sounds good. Do we want to prepare those two coppers to not have them in the shuffle? What do we have down here? We have two horses, so we will draw through. Yeah, I think actually just not playing those two coppers. Still going for that extra merchant guild, preparing those and going for another supplies. Sounds really good. So why not do that? We already have 12 coffers here. And if we find any of the swamp shacks, they will immediately draw us something, but we don't. So we just patiently go for some of that stuff. But yeah, prepare all of those coppers again and buy another merchant guild. We can also do that in a nicer fashion by buying one, marching one, and then preparing, right? Yeah, that looks good. So hopefully we find the swamp shacks here. But yeah, I think it's really important here to keep the coppers out of your shuffles. AI is also doing some nice stuff there, but it doesn't have that many merchant guilds. Well, two. Yeah, this is actually looking kind of scary. It has 8 coffers now. The Swamp Shacks gets to do a bunch of stuff, but yeah, now I think we should explode on the next turn. Um, it's a bit of a problem that we can't really prepare that much here. I think we still want to do it, but yeah, we can march these merchant guilds. Mm, yeah, and we should pick up more swamp shacks, and but also some maybe another more merchant guild, one more swamp shacks, and prepare this one copper. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. Ooh, we could also, wait, what do we have in our discard? Um, hmm. We could, at this point, instead of buying, hmm, we could think about buying a swamp shacks, marching the swamp shacks. That would draw us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3 cards. No, 4 cards, and then prepare. I think actually that sounds like the best option to do here. Just prepare a bunch of stuff. Yeah, march the swamp shacks, prepare all of this, and have an amazing start to our next turn. Yeah, I like that play, even though it means that we are missing out a bit on buys. Um, yeah, I'd love to get more buys into play, but yeah, what can you do? So we play this Swamp Shacks, play the Bounty Hunter, all of those merchant guilds, march one more merchant guild for more buy, get even. Yeah, what do we do here? Yeah, we do the same trick again. Swamp Shacks, march Swamp Shacks, and like the main limitation right now is the buy limitation. Like I would love to get more buys in. But maybe in that case we don't waste a buy with that march and just buy a merchant guild and maybe buy another jeweled egg or another merchant guild even. And no, of course the marching thing is buy neutral. I messed up in my head there. Yeah, no, just play this Swamp Shacks, drawing us 4 cards and prepare all of this good stuff. And then next turn we will buy green, unless the AI somehow manages to buy all of the remaining Swamp Shacks, Merchant Guilds, and supplies and surprise piles us out. But no, it doesn't look like it. It also just goes for a bunch of stuff. It has, yeah, let's see. All this Swamp Shacks doesn't even draw us anything. But here, yeah, I think the problem about my approach is that um, all of those initial swamp shacks don't draw that much because of all of the because we don't have that many cards in play. So we shouldn't play those coppers. We should yeah, just do the march trick, play this, and then prepare this stuff to set them aside for more swamp shacks, and then just double province here. And yeah, we should have a good turn here, hopefully. Yeah, and the main limitation I think we're facing is that we are a bit bi-limited. We would love another jeweled egg, and we're not completely drawing as much as I would love to. So yeah, AI stuff is also looking scary. Like it has a bunch of draw and a bunch of merchant guilds with buys and 15 coffers also set aside, and has a sextant there. I It also has an orb and a sword. I didn't know about the sword. So let's discard this merchant guild. Hope that we find it again, but I think we need all the draw we can get. And AI buys duchies. That's interesting, to say the least. Um, and coppers, that makes sense with merchant guild. But yeah, those duchies are a bit surprising. Let's just play those horses, swamp shacks, and yeah, we can just quad province. Do we have anything else here? Of course, we can get this province out of our deck. Why wouldn't we? Yeah, I think we just quad provinced here and hope that AI cannot catch up. It shouldn't be able to, but yeah. We could also pile those last two merchant guilds. What does that do for us? Gives us a bit more. Um, no, that would waste buys. Yeah, no, we just need to quad province here and hope for the best. But AI would need to go for all of the duchies and province. That would be how much? How many points? 15, 21 points, and then also two estates. It's not out of the question, but yeah, I think we're pretty fine here. This is an interesting kingdom with a lot of stuff going on. I think I misplayed some of the early prepare stuff because there was this one turn where our swamp shakes didn't draw us anything, which was really bad. Yeah, our draw was pretty inconsistent in general. I yeah, can only go for the quad duchy and province, and that's not enough for it to catch up. So we did in the end manage to, with that really weird looking deck, manage to overtake it. Um, but yeah, interesting. I don't know what to say about this kingdom, honestly. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry for, of course, also the light quality here. But yeah, nice. And with that, I will try to record another one tomorrow, but I don't know whether I'll find the time. So maybe see you tomorrow or later. In any case, I will try to catch you in the next one. Maybe let's show the full extent of AI's deck. It also had 8 coppers in the end, even though it trashed. Yeah, sorry. I already said my catchphrase, so I guess we're over time. Goodbye.